Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Ross, an educational technologist here at Ivy Tech Fort Wayne. Today we're going to walk through a powerful little helper in IvyLearn, the accessibility checker within the rich content editor. It's your best friend to ensure that every student has equal access to your awesome course materials. By the end of this video, you will be able to demonstrate how to locate and use the accessibility checker in IvyLearn's rich content editor, identify and flag common accessibility issues flagged by the tool, and explain how accessible content benefits all students in your course, not just those with a disability. Federal guidelines, like Section 508 of the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG 2.1, emphasize alternatives for visual, auditory, and navigational content. But accessibility isn't just about legal compliance. It's about good teaching. Features like captions, clear headings, readable contrast, and image descriptions support students who use screen readers or have hearing and visual impairments. But they also help students learning in noisy environments, accessing content on mobile devices, or processing information differently than the average student. In short, accessibility features make your content easier to understand, navigate, and engage with for everyone. The accessibility checker flags common issues, so your IvyLearn pages are compliant and, most importantly, inclusive. Let's jump into IvyLearn to learn more about the Rich Content Editor Accessibility Checker tool. The first thing you're going to want to do is to log onto IvyLearn and then go to the course where you want to check the accessibility of the content that you've created. The Rich Content Editor appears in a lot of different IvyLearn tools, like announcements, pages, discussions, assignments, quizzes. So there are a lot of different ways that you can use this accessibility checker depending on what content you're building. We are going to go to a page today to check to see how well the content that's on that page meets accessibility standards. Once you've opened your page, in order to see the accessibility checker, you're going to need to go to the Edit menu. This will open the Rich Content Editor box and have the accessibility checker down here with the little person inside the circle, kind of like the Vitruvian Man by Leonardo da Vinci. And if there are any accessibility issues, a little blue circle will show up with the number of issues that need to be fixed. In order to see what specific issues your page content has when it comes to accessibility standards, all you need to do is click on your little Vitruvian Man, and a panel will pop up over here on the right side of the screen that describes the issue and provides you the opportunity to change it so that it is now accessible. The first issue we have on this page is that we have an image, but the image does not have complete alternative text. Alt text makes images readable by screen readers. The checker will alert you if it's missing, too long, or just a file name, as it is in our particular case. You will need to aim for clear, concise descriptions in 120 characters or less in order to have a good alternative text for images on IvyLearn. So this is an image of the North Campus sign that's here on the Fort Wayne campus. So in order to make it more accessible, we put a simple description, which is sign for Ivy Tech Community College, North Campus, with campus buildings visible in the background. You'll see down here an option to select decorative image for the image on your page. You should really only check that if the image is in fact decorative, meaning that if the student cannot see or understand the image, what the image is trying to display, and not lose any context for the learning material, then clicking the decorative image will be fine, and you will not need to provide any alternative text. It is highly encouraged that any images that you have on your screens in IvyLearn, especially when it comes to course content, have context and have meaning. A lot of decorative items tend to be distracting, not just for students with disabilities, but also any student in your course. Once you have your alt text, you can hit apply. It will then automatically check off that issue, and then if you go down here, you'll notice that we've now gone from 5 to 4, so we've taken care of that issue. It's no longer a problem. But if I click back on here, we go to our next issue, which is the low text contrast. Text needs to be easy to read on these pages. For normal size text, that means a contrast ratio of at least 4.5 to 1. The checker will help you to adjust if needed. So in this particular case, we have a really light purple color that makes it really difficult to read this content. The accessibility checker again notes that the text doesn't have the correct ratio and gives you options on how to change it. So you can either change it by putting in the hex code here, if you happen to know what it is, or click on the box that the accessibility checker provides you until you see this apply button appear. Once the apply button appears, it means that you have the correct contrast, so now it's much easier to read. And again, you can hit apply to make that change. Our number goes down to 3, and we are making good progress. The next issue that we have on this page is issue with heading structures. Headings should follow a logical order, heading 2, heading 3, and so on. This helps screen readers navigate your content efficiently. In order to change a text heading status, you need to come up here to the top. You have the font size here, and then the heading level or the style of the text here. So heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, or paragraph. In this particular case, this section here is labeled as heading 2, but then down here it is listed as heading 4. For a screen reader, this is going to be really very confusing. So you will need to make it so we're not skipping heading levels and make it easier for those screen readers to navigate. So again, here it describes the issue. Heading levels should not be skipped, and it gives you some actions to take. So you can leave it as is. You can fix the heading hierarchy or remove the heading style entirely. In this particular case, I'm going to fix the heading hierarchy so it goes from heading 2 to heading 3. So now we're going in order, and again, I'm going to hit apply. The next issue we encounter is a table that has information that students need to process without a caption describing the contents of the table or a header row or header column. For tables, you need to identify a header row and set the appropriate scope. This ensures the content is structured and understandable for screen readers. So in the first issue related to the table asks you to add a caption. So in this particular case, we're going to say TV character comparisons, and then hit apply. Then the next and last issue that it's going to prompt you on is going to be about the headers. So right now it has no headers, so we're going to do our drop-down menu. We can select a header row, a header column, or header row and column. So depending on the information that you are presenting to the students, you need to decide which one of these is most appropriate. I'm going to select header row and column. You'll notice that it changed the formatting. So now we have bold and centered text. Again, we hit apply, and now we're done. Once you apply the fixes, a panel will show a success message. No accessibility issues were detected, and you get little celebratory balloons so that you know that you've fixed all of the things that the accessibility checker is looking at. The checker does a lot, but not everything. You'll still want to do a quick manual check for descriptive link text, making sure that it tells the students exactly what the link that they're clicking on will go to. So for example, this link to the fall syllabus, you need to avoid just putting click here. Click here is ambiguous and doesn't accurately describe where the student is going to go or what they need to be seeing when they click on the link. This link down here, view the fall 2025 course syllabus and indicating that they should be opening a PDF, is more descriptive and will help students understand exactly what they're going to. The other thing the checker does not check for is captions or transcripts in multimedia content. So for this, I'm going to save our changes and go back to the main screen so we can see this a little bit more easily. So down here in our multimedia content, we can see that it does have closed captioning. So The content, the closed captioning shows up on the bottom as the speaker is talking. This also has access to a transcript that is downloadable. If you click on the three dots or the hamburger menu up here in the top right corner of the screen, you click on download transcript, and then it will create a text file that you can open that has the transcript for the video. This particular video was created in Ivy Learn Studio, so I was able to record it, caption it, and give it a transcript all in the menu and tools provided right down here. If you are uploading or embedding a video from YouTube or another platform, you will need to provide the captioning and the transcript yourself. And we at the Ivy Tech Educational Technology Department have the tools that we can help you figure all that out. The last thing that is important to make note of and make sure that you're doing that the checker will not pick up on is making sure you are providing those proper heading levels and not just bolded or italicized or underlined text. So instead of just stylizing the text, it is important to go ahead and give these the heading labels. So again, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, which again is helpful for making sure that any screen readers trying to navigate the content are able to do so. Just stylizing the font does not help screen readers and does not create an accessible page. Once you've checked over everything on your page, so both the things that the accessibility checker can check and things that it cannot, you can double check by clicking on your Vitruvian Man to see that there are no more accessibility issues, and you'll know your content is in great shape when you see this message with the balloons. When you feel like you are done, you can hit save or save and publish depending on where you are in the content creating process. And then I do recommend that you view as a student so that you can see what they see, experience what they experience. So again, if you remember, I came to the saved page to walk through the multimedia content because it will not behave the same for you in the rich content editor as it will for a student. And this is just a great way to verify that your content is user-friendly for all students. And that's how you use the accessibility checker in Ivy Learn's rich content editor to create inclusive, accessible, and compliant content in just a few clicks. Remember, this isn't just a tech tool, it's a teaching strategy. By checking your content regularly, you're creating a learning environment where all students can succeed. If you have any questions or want to explore more accessibility strategies, you can join our accessibility course on Ivy Learn by scanning this QR code. You also can come and schedule an appointment with myself or any of the EdTech staff. We would love to help you make your course as accessible as possible for all of your students. Thanks for watching and keep up the amazing work. Your students thank you.